Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video, we're diving into Garp's challenge, Revolution Army 2, with a bit of a how-to guide for you guys to take down this 13-star event with the dream team that is Gear 5 and Gear 5 6+. So this particular piece of content is very endgame centric, and I decided, with the release of Gear 5 being very, very hype, and a lot of people love the unit, and the combination of 6-star and 6+ being so strong, I thought I'd do an in-depth breakdown of Revolution Army 2 and how to get it done. Now, you only need to beat this once, and then you don't ever have to run it ever again. And nowadays, it's nowhere near as hard, nowhere near or even close to being the hardest content in the game, but it still is a 13-star event, and it still does take a little bit of brain power to actually get it done. If you guys do complete it, you do have a Chopper Man mission for a bunch of gems and stuff like that, so it's definitely worth your time and is a bit of a goal for endgame, for reaching endgame content. So in today's video, we're utilizing this particular team right here. We're using a 6+ Gear 5 friend captain to actually take this down, and this particular team is completely free to play subs. I didn't use any supports as well. I kept it pretty basic in the sense of how to beat this, what happens, and like where to go with it. But before we dive in, I do want to point out some replacement units for this particular team that you guys definitely could use. Now, with the Gear 5s, you do need to bring 3 units that fall under the category of the Straw Hats, Yamato, Kid, Law, or Momo. So that's very, very important. First of all, this particular Morley is so good for this content. If you guys have the time, just go over to the Colosseums in the Recollective Archive, farm this guy up. He's superb for one of the stages, which is actually against Morley, which is ironic. But make sure to farm him up. He's very, very good. As for the other 3 units, I basically just put on Straw Hat crew units and Yamato that are just free to play. This particular chopper is available in the Kazuna shop. You can definitely pick him up for free. Hopefully you guys have some Kazuna insignias if you guys haven't been playing around the time of his release. He's very, very good as he removes paralysis and attack down. 2 of the things that we have to get around. He's a dex unit, he's a chopper, he falls under the category and fits the bill quite nicely. Next we have this particular Sanji. He is a paralysis remover. You don't have to bring this particular Sanji. You can literally bring like any int Straw Hat unit that removes paralysis. So you could use something like Nami and Robin would definitely work here. You could use Time Skip Nami. There's a lot of paralysis removing Nami units that definitely could work, or Robin units as well. So the big one here would be utilizing Nami and Robin. They're a unit that can give you an orb buff as well. They're very, very good. Time Skip Nami can also be very, very handy here. But the reason I use this particular PKA Sanji is because he actually gives cooldowns, which has made the run a little bit smoother and a little bit faster. Finally, I have Yamato. This is another free-to-play point farming unit. She's available in the PKA shop, but you don't have to use her. You can literally use like Clash Zoro is a really good one if you guys are missing, or if you're looking for another Straw Hat that's quick. You could use Legends here as well. Another really, really powerful unit that would work really, really well for this team is actually Law. The Super Tandem Law. So if you have this Legend Law, I would highly recommend using him on the team. He's a fantastic character. If you guys have the Kid counterpart, you could definitely use Kid. This particular Super Tandem Kid here, this one, he works exceptionally well as well. Because remember, underneath Gear 5, 6+, as long as you have one of every single type, you are going to be able to turn every special into a rainbow attack or whatever you guys want to do. The only character that I would recommend keeping on the team if you guys are changing other units is this particular Morley, because he's so niche and he works so well for one particular stage. However, there is a Law unit that works exceptionally well. The Rare Recruit Law can remove Resilience, this one here, and then if you can find someone else that removes defense up, or a support maybe that removes 2 turns of defense up, you could easily do that as well. Remember, you have access to every support for this particular team. I just didn't want to include supports because I wanted to keep it fairly simple. If you enjoyed the video, belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Let's dive in and take a look at Revolution Army 2. Alright, here we go. That is the team once again. I did manage to find myself a rainbowed Gear 5, 6+, so that was the team. There are no supports. Let's dive on in. Now, this particular run actually gets it done without using any special besides the EX of Gear 5 on the final stage. Now, remember, I do have a rainbowed 6+ frame captain, so his rush ability goes absolutely ballistic. However, there is something that we will chat about before we get there, because I actually use the Yamato special like super early, and you really don't have to. Now, on turn 1, I activate the EX of my my 6-star Gear 5 Luffy, that allows me to go through the barriers, which means that I could kill both the penguins and everything else. Now, if you guys don't want to use that on the turn 1, usually you'll take damage from the front 2 units. The front 2 units do about 15,000 damage compared to the 7,000 damage that I was taking from my 10% HP cut of Luffy. So look, it just made more sense for me to actually just go in and just take out the penguins and actually get it done faster, because I was always going to use the EX on this particular stage against Hack anyway. Now against Hack, he has 3 lackeys. They all have a barrier, so that's why we want to use the EX. So now we avoid those barriers. And then he has a 50% HP cut, as well as giving us 3 turns of attack down. This is where we're going to use the Chopper special for the first time. Chopper actually gives us a pretty nice heal and gives us color affinity buff. Now, the color affinity is actually going to be a rainbow color affinity thanks to 6 plus Gear 5. And with Gear 5 being super effective against all types, it means we can easily take out Hack just with his tap. Remember, he gives himself a matching orb with every orb roll, and he does so much goddamn damage every single turn, provided you tap with him last. So make sure you're tapping with 6 plus last, because he is going to be a huge chunk of your damage on every single stage. Once Hack dies, he does a bunch of damage, and then we can move on to the next stage against Ivankov and the Kama girls. Now, normally on this stage, you'll get Special Reversed, Binded, and Despair. Now, this is where the combination of the Gear 5s shows its true power, because with them two as captains, they completely avoid all of it. The Despair, the Bind, the Special Reverse, all of it gets taken out just by having those two as captains, which is so ridiculous. On this particular stage, you don't need to kill Elizabeth, the Dex unit. You only have to kill Ivankov and the other Kama girl. Now, if you tap, obviously, with Gear 5 with type advantage, and then you type with the friend captain Gear 5, you're going to easily kill the two of them, and that way you can move on to the next stage against Sabo Koala. If you don't kill him in one turn, don't stress. You can just kill Ivankov the next turn. You might take some damage, but look, at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. Moving on to Sabo and Koala, they make every orb unfavorable except for Dex, and they give you normal attacks only. They don't allow you to use color affinity buffs or orb buffs, but that's okay, because we're going to use the attack buff of our friend captain Gear 5. They also reduce our recovery drastically. Now, ideally on the first turn, you just need to kill Koala. You don't have to kill both of them. You just have to kill Koala. That is the most important character to kill. So focus on Koala first, and then you can focus on Sabo next. But as you can see, the Gear 5 special, 6 plus that is, gives you so much damage, making every orb a little bit stronger. I think it goes up to just a standard tap, and a 3 times attack boost means you can actually kill very easily on that stage. Moving on to the Morley stage now, this is where the free-to-play Morley is so crucial for this content, because on this stage, there is 2 turns of defense up, 2 turns of threshold, and 5 turns of resilience. Now, obviously, the threshold doesn't matter, but the defense up and the resilience, it still does. So utilizing Morley here just helps out drastically. He sets defense to 0 as long as you hit 3 perfects, I believe, and then gives you a conditional boost against defense up, which works so nicely, because then you can easily set the defense to 0 on the second turn. Now, you are going to get a full board of Dex Orbs and a Chain Lock on the second turn, but that's okay, because we're going to activate our Gear 5 special, give ourselves a full board of Psi Orbs, and an Orb buff and Color Affinity buff to take out Morley here. This way we have a conditional boost, Color Affinity, and an Orb buff, so our friend Captain 6 Plus is going to be hitting very hard here, and even with that Chain Lock, we can easily take it out. Now, I actually use the Sanji special here, which I would highly recommend not doing. I used it here thinking that I was going to need the damage for Bella Betty. This was actually the first time around this team, by the way. I thought I would need the damage for Bella Betty, completely spacing that I was actually going to have the color affinity of Chopper. So you really don't need to use the Sanji special there. And because I use Sanji special, I actually cop like a huge HP cut. So don't use Sanji special there. Just hang on to the Sanji special. You want to get actually a little bit lower with the HP, so Sanji can give you some cooldowns. Another really good unit to replace this Sanji with is actually the Colosseum Sangoro, if you wanted to use him. He's another cooldown reducer. He works well. I actually used the Yamato special in this turn too. I don't know why I thought Bello Betty was going to be so goddamn hard to kill. But I actually just bink a whole bunch of specials there, which I really shouldn't have. Ideally, I should have just kept the Yamato special. And remember, if you guys are using something like Lord, you can easily keep that Lore special. It's not going to matter too much. If you are using Yamato, though, and you're not using the PKA Sanji, she can actually remove paralysis. She's a really good unit to actually use on this stage against Lindbergh. He does give you Bind, which Gear 5 removes, but he also gives you paralysis. Utilizing the Sanji here gives me a little bit of cooldowns. He removes the paralysis, so that works out quite nicely. And then on the next stage, we come up against Karasu. Now, Karasu has 2 turns of Threshold, which we don't have to worry about, and he despairs us, which we don't have to worry about. So just tapping here is going to work quite nicely. Remember, the PKA Sanji, he's so good at just bringing back healing, which is so crucial for a Gear 5 team, because with our own Gear 5, we are losing a lot of HP every single turn, or 10%, so you can actually just build yourself back up and just rely on your 2 6-time captains to just do a lot of damage. On the final stage against Sabo Koala, they only allow you to use 2 specials, and they give you a full board of block golds. Now, as you can see, this would have been a perfect time to use that Yamato special, but for some reason I used it super early. That would have given me a little bit of a buff. But again, if you have Super Tandem, what's his name? Super Tandem Law, or even if you have like Legend Zoro, the Super Sugo Zoro, you could use him here. Any character that is quick, that fits the bill for the Gear 5s is going to work. But as you can see, that rush ability just goes so damn hard that even without any buffs besides the EX, you can get it done. So that's going to wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully it helps you guys out to beat this content, because it's been around for a little while, and obviously there are a lot of teams for it, but hopefully this team and this breakdown helps you guys out getting it done. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one.